My name is Henry Evans, and I'm a member of the State Bar Lawyers Assistance Committee. Lawyers Assistance is important because at times lawyers may not know how to take care of themselves. They are too busy taking care of their clients, taking care of their colleagues, taking care of their staff, taking care of everything but themselves. Please take a moment to learn how mental health, substance use, and addiction impact our lives. Together, we hope to make our profession thrive, improve the lives of those around us, and live above the bar.
Hello, my name is Pamela Ryder. I'm president of the State Bar of South Dakota, and joining me today is Dr. Singh from Sanford Psychiatry. Welcome to the State Bar's Lawyers Assistance Committee's Living Above the Bar series, where we will discuss a variety of health-related topics that impact us both personally and professionally. This segment, will focus on how to approach a colleague or friend who may be suffering from a mental health disorder. But first, Dr. Singh, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
When someone considers approaching a colleague or friend, they may have some reservations about doing that. What advice do you have for that person?
I think having some reservation is very, very understandable when it comes to mental health issues. There is still a lot of stigma when it comes to mental health issues in this country, so people are very reluctant to broach that topic, to bring up that topic and have that conversation. Even the individual that you are talking to might be very defensive about their symptoms. So the first piece of advice I would have for an individual is to be very supportive. Empathy goes a long ways in terms of having that conversation with that individual. Take them to an environment that is non-threatening. So I would recommend not having that conversation maybe in the office. Maybe take them out for a cup of coffee. Maybe invite them out for lunch. In a non-threatening environment, have that conversation. Be supportive when you're having this conversation. It should not sound punitive to the individual. If you are in a supervisory role, I would recommend be very careful in having that conversation. Maybe you want to have this conversation with a friend because, or maybe invite another friend who agrees with what you have noticed, is also aware of these symptoms, so that the patient does not feel like that they're being ganged up on. And you want to have that conversation in a very empathetic, supportive manner.
Dr. Singh, if someone suspects that a colleague or friend may be having issues with substance use disorder,
Sure.
How can they be certain that that may be happening, or that they should have this conversation with their friend or colleague?
I think the most important part is this individual showing signs that their ability to function is being impaired? Are they putting themselves at risk? Are they putting other individuals at risk? Are their actions more impulsive, reckless? Are they showing some poor decision making? If you're starting to see a pattern of these symptoms, then it is time for somebody to step in and have that conversation with this individual.
How do you get that conversation started?
When it comes to mental health issues, we need to be careful about how we bring up this conversation. We want to be very supportive and empathetic in having this conversation. When it comes to substance abuse issues, be prepared that you will encounter some level of denial there. So there is some level of denial that you might run into. Be prepared that that is going to happen. Don't get defensive about it. Don't get upset about it. Don't get angry about it. You are trying to help an individual who might not be seeing things the same way as you are noticing them. So my recommendation would be, don't get offended if they get very defensive or angry at you. I would remain supportive. I would remain persistent in having that conversation with this individual.
Dr. Singh, I've heard people say that you could use phrases that start with I versus you.
Yes.
Do you
I think
agree with that?
I would very strongly recommend using phrases like that. So the patient does not feel like they are being picked on.
Okay. If a colleague or friend isn't ready to seek help or to even admit that there's an issue, what should you do?
I think having conversation with this colleagues, friend and families might be your next step. If you feel you are not making the progress in terms of trying to get help for this individual, reach out to their friends and family. Let them know what you are seeing. If you are working with this individual in a professional setting, reach out to a family member and let them know what you are noticing. And if it is reaching a point where it is causing impairment in their ability to function, that is putting other people at risk, then reach out to other professionals in your group about what is at risk there.
And if the person isn't ready for the help, do you just give up?
No, that would not be a very effective tool in trying to help this individual. I would stay persistent. I would reach out for other resources. I would try to get their family involved in trying to get them help. But I would keep those lines of communications open. I would continue to have this conversation with this individual. Even though they might not be very receptive of this earlier on, I would keep those lines of communication open.
And what should be done if during your conversation your colleague or friend does admit that they're having an issue and they would like to seek help?
If they are willing to seek help, I would recommend that you direct them towards their primary care physician to have that conversation with their PCP so that the PCP can then guide their treatment process.
Thank you, Dr. Singh, for talking with us about how to approach a colleague or friend where we may have concerns with their mental health or substance use disorders. And thank you to all of you who have taken the time to watch this segment of our Living Above the Bar series. Take care.